High in the Himalayas, nestled among the terraced fields, was Mia's village. The village was a picturesque haven, surrounded by towering peaks and lush greenery. The air was crisp and fresh, and the villagers lived in harmony with nature. Mia, a little ball of energy, was the heart of the village. Her laughter echoed through the narrow lanes, and her tiny feet left imprints on the dusty paths. The other children adored her, and she brought joy to everyone she met. With eyes that sparkled like the morning dew and a smile that could melt the snow off the mountains, Mia was always curious. She had an insatiable thirst for knowledge, asking endless questions about the world around her. She loved listening to her grandmother's stories filled with magic and wonder. Mia would sit for hours, her eyes wide with amazement, as she listened to tales of brave heroes and mythical creatures. One day, while playing hopscotch with her friends, Mia overheard a conversation between the village elders. She paused mid-hop, her ears perking up as she tried to catch their words. They were talking about a wedding, but something seemed different. Mia inched closer, trying to hear more without being noticed. "Whose wedding is it?" Mia whispered to her friend, her curiosity piqued. She couldn't imagine who in the village could be getting married. Her friend giggled. "It's yours, silly." Mia was surprised. She had never thought about getting married, and the idea seemed absurd to her young mind. She was just a child. The thought of a wedding was far from her mind. She decided to ask her grandmother about it later. For now, she returned to her game, her mind buzzing with questions. Confused, Mia ran to her mother. Her small feet kicked up dust as she hurried through the narrow, winding paths of the village. The sun was setting, casting a golden hue over the thatched roofs and terraced fields. "Am I really getting married, Ma?" she asked, her eyes wide with a mix of curiosity and concern. The thought of marriage was both thrilling and terrifying for the young girl. "Who is it to?" she asked, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Would it be someone she knew, or a stranger from a distant village? Her mother chuckled and patted her head. "Yes, Mia, you are. But it's a secret you'll find out on the wedding day." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. The village square was transformed into a bustling hub of excitement. Colorful decorations were hung from every available surface. The whole village was buzzing with preparations. Women gathered to cook elaborate feasts while men set up tents and arranged seating. Children ran around, playing games and helping where they could. Mia, caught in the excitement, almost forgot about her mysterious wedding. She helped string garlands of marigolds, her fingers stained yellow from the petals. Yet every night, as she lay on her bed, staring at the starlit sky, she couldn't help but wonder who the lucky groom was. The stars seemed to whisper secrets, and she found herself dreaming of a future she could barely imagine. Finally, the day of the wedding arrived. Mia was adorned in a colorful silk dress, her hair braided with fragrant flowers. She looked beautiful. As she stepped out of her house, she gasped. Right in the middle of her courtyard stood a beautifully decorated cow. Mia couldn't believe her eyes. This was the groom? A cow? She burst into laughter. Her parents, seeing her reaction, joined in. "You are now married to Laxmi, the cow," her father announced, trying to control his laughter. That evening, as Mia sat beside her grandmother, the room was filled with a warm, golden glow from the traditional oil lamp. The flickering light cast dancing shadows on the walls, creating an atmosphere of mystery and anticipation. She finally learned the secret behind the cow marriage, a tradition that had always intrigued her. Her grandmother's stories were always filled with wisdom and wonder, but this one held a special place in the village's heart. Her grandmother, her wrinkled face glowing in the light of the oil lamp, began to speak in a soft yet powerful voice. Each wrinkle on her face seemed to tell a story of its own, a testament to the many years she had lived and the countless tales she had told. She started narrating an old tale, one that had been passed down through generations. It was a story of faith, resilience, and the deep connection between the villagers and their sacred cows. Long ago, she began, our village was hit by a terrible drought. The once lush and fertile fields turned dry and barren. The rivers and streams that once flowed abundantly were reduced to mere trickles. Crops died, and people were starving. The villagers, who had always relied on the land for their sustenance, found themselves in a dire situation. The children cried from hunger and the elders worried about the future. A wise old woman then advised the villagers to show their gratitude to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. She was revered not just for her ability to bestow riches, but for her power to bring life and abundance to the land. The villagers believed that Lakshmi resided in cows, sacred animals that symbolized fertility and nourishment. The wise woman suggested that by honoring the cows, they could invoke the goddess's blessings. The villagers, desperate for a solution, decided to follow her advice. They began to treat the cows with even greater reverence, offering them the best of what little they had left. She suggested marrying a young girl to a cow as a mark of respect and to invoke Lakshmi's blessings. This ceremony was not just a ritual, but a profound act of faith and hope. The villagers gathered, dressed in their finest attire, and performed the rituals with utmost devotion. They prayed fervently, hoping that their sincere efforts would be rewarded with rain and prosperity. And so the legend of Lakshmi, the holy cow, was born, a tale of faith, resilience, and the enduring bond between humans and nature. The wedding ceremony was a sight to behold. The village priest chanted prayers, and offerings of flowers, fruits, and incense were made to Lakshmi, the cow. Mia, still slightly bewildered, followed the priest's instructions, her face a picture of amusement and curiosity. The cow, adorned with garlands of marigolds and with its horns painted gold, looked regal. As Mia put the garland around Lakshmi's neck, the cow mooed softly, as if accepting her as its bride. The villagers cheered, their faces lit up with joy and hope. The ceremony was followed by a grand feast. Mia, still trying to wrap her head around the idea of being married to a cow, found the whole situation hilarious. She imagined herself telling her friends in the city about her unusual wedding. Later that night, as Mia lay beside her husband, Lakshmi, she couldn't help but giggle. The cow seemed to be amused by her too, gently nudging her with its head. It was the most unusual wedding night one could imagine. In the days that followed, Mia's initial amusement turned into a deep sense of respect for the tradition. She realized that the cow marriage wasn't just a funny ritual, but a beautiful expression of her village's gratitude and dependence on nature. Mia continued to live her life as usual, playing with her friends, going to school, and helping her mother with chores. But now she also had a new friend, Lakshmi, her cow husband. She would often sit beside Lakshmi, sharing her secrets and stories. As Mia grew older, she learned to appreciate the wisdom hidden within the seemingly strange traditions of her village. The cow marriage, she realized, was a reminder of the delicate balance between humans and nature, a bond of respect, gratitude, and laughter. And Mia, the little girl who once laughed at the idea of marrying a cow, became the keeper of this unique tradition, sharing its story with anyone who would listen. If you enjoyed Mia's adventure, please like, subscribe, and comment below.